Well, I got an assortment of Estwing products now. And you know, the one thing that really got me in, I didn't realize they still made these. I had, like I said before, I had this product, this thing for about 60 years. Well, it's about 60 years old. My great uncle had it, then my father had it, and I was always using it since I was about a teenager to fix cars and stuff. I said, get out the little baby sludge. Get out the little carburetor hammer. And I never really paid attention what was on the handle. It said Estwing. Then somebody mentioned it. Actually, it was Pete from the DIY Auto channel. He saw that hammer in one of my videos, and he said it looks like an old Estwing. I said I like this hammer a lot, and I didn't realize what the hell it was. I figured maybe they didn't make them anymore, and then I started looking up online. I said, wait a minute, they make them. And you know, you can't buy these in the Wally World box stores. I mean, think Lowe's has them or Home Depot, but you won't see like a lot of the really cheap box stores have these, like China Mart or something, right? So I've been buying a lot of them, this thing I really like the machete a lot. I kind of just put a quick video out on it compared to my Bolo. This appears to be shorter than an average machete, but it's not. The difference is the handle length. But what I want to talk about is just the latest axe I got. It's actually because the blade doesn't go down to here, and you don't have a hand. The handle isn't way on the end. You can have a handle you can choke up on. It makes it. It's actually about the same length as it's the same length as a Bolo, except for maybe 3/4 of an inch. So anyway, get in there somehow. Wrong way. So I picked up the framer's axe, then I picked up the 26-inch camp axe, and I decided to pick up instead of the sportsman's axe, because you see the sportsman's axe is about 14 inches. This framer's axe, it's got a little more of a straight handle on it. It's maybe, I don't know, just a hair. It's maybe a ½ inch less than the 16-inch camper's axe. But these are nice. These are nice because you could swing these a lot easier than, you know, the old green military axes. I don't know, they seem to have like a bigger head on them or something like that. And they're made well, but the military ought to be using these things. They should not just put a green handle on it or something, and maybe like you know, powder coat like this, maybe in green, you know, USMC on it or something. It would be a lot better. The other thing I picked up, and I know I have some of these smaller tools like this. I've had them for like a little yellow one. It's just a carbide sharpener. I use them for the machete all the time. Not for the axe, but for the knives. But this is designed for axes and machetes. It's a bigger one. But I've had one in my El Camino since about 90 or 91. 1990, 91. I've used these all the time. I don't use the stones. People say, oh, you should use the stones. But this is a lot faster. This doesn't like put an edge on something that has a totally bad edge. You'll have to use your grinding wheel or something, but if you just got to touch it up while you're working out with the axe, this thing works really, really nice. Now, the thing I like about, now the camper axe is two hands, the 26-inch one. This is the 16-inch axe, 2 inches less, 2 inches more than the sportsman's axe. I got the camper one because the sportsman axe has the leather rings on it, and I figured the leather rings aren't going to hold up as well as the rubber, because this rubber held up for, it's still on here for 60 years. So that's a pretty long time, and my hands were always greasy when I was picking this up with, you know, doing mechanical work. Did not rot this rubber. It's not some Chinese rubber. I don't know what the hell it's made out of, but it's really good. This axe though, the 16-inch camper's axe, which is this one, you can use it one hand or two hands. That's the other advantage. This one is strictly two hands. You know, if you did one hand, I guess it would be like this. That would be pretty awkward. You could probably do it. But, you know, the thing is, with, you know, having an axe that's not too big and not too small. It's kind of good. I got a really small one. I think it's made in China, so it's got paracord on it with a fire starter. That was like 10 bucks in Wally World. Probably works okay. It chops. But you figured if you're going to carry an axe with you, you want something a little more substantial. Maybe you don't want one that long. So I opted for this. And really what sold me again is the fact that I think the leather handle with the leather grommets, I mean, yeah, maybe it would last 20 years, man. I don't know. I'm just looking at this handle. This is 60 years old. This is my great uncle's. He used to be a machinist and a welder for Pratt and Whitney for like 30 years. He retired from Pratt and Whitney for 30 years. He died, years ago, not that many years ago, but he was in World War II on the USS Bunker Hill, the one that got the most heavily damaged carrier in World War II that survived. He was also on the submarines against the Germans and stuff. I respected him as a welder, machinist, and this was a hammer he had. My father had it, then I have it. It's still going. It's an Estwing. So I mean, this isn't your typical, freaking. That's what inspired me to buy these. You understand? I mean, it's like, this isn't some kind of, I'm telling you, like, what I really think is the right shit, okay? So this, let's see if we get a chop here. One chop or what, I don't know. No. Almost. I've noticed this thing will chop a little bit better than the machete. Oh yeah, there it goes. But the bolo machete, you can't get through this thing hardly for nothing. This thing, it's not as good as the axe, but it's not too bad. You see smaller chops. Yeah, it's not as good as the axe. But then again, this machete works better than the bolo. And the other thing is you got this saw thing, which I said before on the other video is great for making notches, because maybe you can't saw through this shit. Say you got to make a notch for some paracord, right? Makes just the right width too. And yeah, I'm not using a GoPro camera even though I got one, right? So I don't like those things. They look all like, looks like you're looking through a fishbowl, and it's big wide angle bullshit. So anyway, but versus being a videographer here, I'm just trying to tell you like something that I think is, like I told you, man, this is really what sold me on Estwing. And everybody else putting a video out and maybe has an Estwing for a year or two or a couple of years. I don't know how many people had it for 60 years and got it from their great uncle. He used to be a machinist and a welder for Pratt and Whitney, and used the hell out of it back 60 years ago. And I know I used the crap out of this because I did a lot of work on cars, pounded out and densed it. Should not have been on panels. That should have been replaced versus pounded out. And I used that little Estwing, the carburetor hammer. So that's my axe. And if you want to sharpen it up, you just go along the blade like this. You just put these carbide bits in there, and it'll touch it up really quick. As far as like swinging the axe, you got to get skills back. I used to cut a lot of firewood way back when I was up in Jersey using a fireplace and putting it in the back of the old 66 Dodge 3/4 ton truck. Yeah, I used the chainsaw, but I also used that was a Harley going by. I used the axes too. Sometimes the axes are faster, especially when you don't have to start the chainsaw and it don't want to start. That's another reason for an axe, because it's what do you call it? Not just Y2K compliant. Remember they used to talk about that, but EMP proof. It's a type of tech that's going to be around for a while, and you can use it for I don't know, making possum stew or something like that out of it. Yeah, but it works pretty good. And I noticed these Estwing products got a lot more balance on them than some of my other stuff I got. I'll show you, walk over to the shed. It's kind of an, you know, I don't like planning out my videos, man, because they're phony when people plan them out. They always try to, you know, didn't expect to do this, but try to give you like something like this, like Estwing made that. That'll be nice. But I can tell you one thing: this axe, it doesn't. I don't know what the hell brand this is. It's probably something pretty good, but it doesn't swing anywhere near as that Estwing 26-inch camp axe. It feels like a anvil on a stick. It feels almost like this maul. Or this, I don't know what the hell else I got here. Or that, you know. So, I'll tell you one thing, man. I think Estwing makes some great products, and I consider it, you know, like a little investment. Probably a couple of these are gonna go. One of these is gonna go in my El Camino. Probably the framer's axe. Probably this guy right here. But this thing, I mean, you got the head on there. You can hammer some nails with it, no problem, you know. And like what I did with this one, like this has a clear coat on it, that's why it's not going to rust right away. What I did with this Estwing product here was I dunked it in chassis saver. Now this has been knocked around in my toolbox a lot, but that chassis saver stayed on there pretty good, didn't it? Even though I didn't clean it off, I just dunked it in there. So if you want to like preserve this and say it's starts getting rusty, you could stick some, you know, because like this is powder coated, right? But say this is just clear coated. You could do is put some chassis saver on it. Chassis saver is like pour 15, paint over rust. As long as you kind of like got it roughed up, so it sticks on there and it's chemically clean, it'll stick on there pretty good. This is actually I did this a couple years ago with this on this Estwing baby sludge, whatever the hell it is. But this thing's got, it's just maybe 2 inches longer than the Sportsman axe. That's what kind of sold me on it, one for one thing, because you could use two hands on it if you had to. If you got to get some power, you can't really use two hands with the Sportsman's axe, which is, it's a good axe too. I mean, nothing wrong with it. And the other thing is, like I said, with that handle, being that this handle's 60 years old, I think it's going to outlast the leather grommets. Now the leather grommets might last 30, 40 years. I don't know, maybe. Who knows? You know, you can always put something else on it, but great products. They'll last you, well, hopefully people are getting to longevity and the good people start living 200-300 years or more. It'll last you for your 200 or 300 years. How's that? That's what we got to do. Great product, man. Great product. I actually feel better about investing in this than almost anything, because it's like very minimal cost. And if you figure you can't afford something like this, you could, if you watch, because a lot of people blow money on cigarettes, extra garbage, sodas, anything, vending machines, making unnecessary trips to the store. Like that was $40 delivered. That one there, the Estwing machete. I think this was about $40. The framer's axe, this was about 35. That was about 40 something, maybe a little over 40 for the camper axe. And the sharpener might have been 15. So they're not much money. If you look at like when you go out there in a supermarket aisle, you see this thing for $5 or $3 to go buy yourself some coffee bullshit or some crap, or all that crap they put on the extra supermarket. You add up all those $3 charges, or all those little trips to the convenience store, you can easily have one of these. And, you know, versus those few extra big gulps that you could have made some, made out of, you know, a 3-pound thing of iced tea that's cheap for a couple bucks, that you paid, you know, freaking $10 worth of big gulps twice for 2 of them or something. You know, that's a quarter the price of maybe that axe, right? So that's how I get stuff. I watch all the pennies, and then when the pennies add up, I buy something that'll last me. So that's probably the most important advice I can give you on this video. The pennies add up. Don't waste your pennies. Buy something with those pennies when they add up, and get something that will last you.